sponsored by MPW Mocklink TV and Mocklink Internet, online at mpw.org. Each weekday morning, our local talk segment brings you the people who are helping move our community forward. Let's start the show.
Good morning, AM 860 and FM 95.1 KWPC. I'm Jordan Davis. Thanks for joining us this morning here for Moving Forward on another cold, blustery Wednesday. We just can't seem to get away from it. Krista here, Krista Regennitter joining me in the studio this morning.
Good
Krista
morning.
knows just as well as anybody just how much of a nightmare this is, because you've got young ones too that you're trying to wrangle for all of this as well.
Exactly. You got to figure out where to ship them off, and just like the school district says, it's important to always have a plan because you never know. It's Mother Nature, so you got to be ready.
Absolutely. Well, reminder, this is all brought to you by Muscatine Power and Water. Mocklink Internet and TV are the best value in entertainment and connectivity and getting better with world-class fiber. Subscribe now, and you'll get fiber when it comes to your neighborhood. And learn more at mpw.org. Again, I'm Jordan Davis. Like I said, Krista Regennitter joining us this morning. Talk a little bit about the Muscatine Extension Office. You guys always have stuff going on, even in this blistering cold.
Yes.
And I remember you guys sent us some heads up last week or maybe the week before that you had a few things that were shut down during the real cold blast that we had.
Don't close we don't close like per the school district or anything like that. But that one day that everybody closed. And we've had a couple late starts, and so we're trying to be as balanced, being open and available, and also making sure our employees are safe and can get to work safely. And that's, I think, what everybody's trying to do right now.
Right. Yeah, that's the most important thing, because it doesn't really matter if you're open if nobody can get in there to work, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and there's certain days nobody should have been out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a lot of groups, we've talked about that before, Jordan, that we have tons of groups that meet at the Extension office that aren't necessarily our programming. And so it's also balancing, making sure, what their plans are and notifying them and that kind of thing. But most of our groups have canceled.
If your office is closed, obviously they wouldn't be able to get...
Yeah, well, and they have to pick up a key and check that out and stuff like that. And so if we're not open, they're not able to do that part. Right. And so we've I know like the Mustang Arboretum meets there, and we rescheduled their meeting 3 times just because, the weather's bad, and especially at night, people don't want to be going out. We were supposed to have our Master Gardener General meeting last night, and we've postponed that to next week. And
that was probably a good idea. It was still just so nasty out.
Well, the radar yesterday was funny because I thought it was going to stop snowing at 8 o'clock, and it didn't seem to stop snowing until 8 o'clock at night. So it definitely, the day I think turned out different than everybody expected.
Well, at least we didn't get as much snow as they said we were going to get too. Because imagine trying to deal with that this morning with all the ice, and our parking lot is scary.
Yes, I noticed that.
Here. It is. Luckily, it was so slushy yesterday that when people drove over it, walked over it, whatever, it created nice little ridges in the slush, and then it all froze like that. So it's no longer just a sheet of glare of ice. It's ice, but with lots of rocks in it. It's like walking on gravel, it feels like out there. So
that's one thing. We are thinking spring. So that's part of, some of the stuff that we have going on and getting ready for. The one thing that I really want to highlight, because I'm very excited about it, is our annual Art of Gardening event. And I don't know if we've talked much about this, Jordan. I'm not sure.
Now, we've talked about Master Gardeners a lot of their stuff, and this is part of theirs.
Yeah,
correct?
So every year Master Gardeners team up with Muscatine Community College, and they do a continuing education opportunity for anybody in the community. It's a one-day symposium. It's Saturday, March 9th at MCC, and I have the little brochure. And so people that sign up and attend, there's 4 workshop sessions. And so each workshop session, that's like saying woodchuck shucks. There is like 6 to 7 to 8 different workshops that they can choose from. Okay. So there's a lot of different things going on, and then during the lunch, there's 2 lunch sessions, and then opposite lunch is a Stump the Expert panel where people can submit questions. So it's about gardening. There's some conservation things. Like here's an example of we have something coming up, landowner conservation options and strategies, new annuals and perennials for 2019. There's a blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, oh my. I'm doing a workshop with Nicole Sorgenfry on donation gardening and how people can plant an extra row and support our local food pantries. Gardening with conifers, pruning. There's some things about extending the season, winter gardening or cold frames, planting bioswales. There's care for fruit and nut trees. This is one that I think should be really interesting. plants that have changed history.
Interesting.
So Rachel Horner-Brackett, one of our local master gardeners, is going to be doing that. I think that'll be really cool. So some of them are like favorite gardens, where there's a master gardener from Lynn County that's going to be going through travel photos that she has and talking about different gardens. There's a gourd jewelry. So it's not all just
gourd jewelry.
Gourd jewelry, yes. So they'll be using prepared gourd shards, dried botanicals, threads, and other embellishments to create beautiful gourd necklace. Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of, gardening with native flowers and trees.
Mm-hmm.
Our Hannah Howard's going to be doing that one. Mark Vitosh from the Iowa DNR is going to be coming and talking about planting landscape trees and promoting diversity. And I have to tell you, during our Master Conservationist program, Mark came and he's just really fun to listen to. I mean, if you're into trees,
he was one of your last events, wasn't he? Was he part of that last event?
Not the very last
one.
Okay. No, that was the guy, Jim Pease, who actually created the Iowa Master Conservation Program, and he was amazing. Mm-hmm. Mark, we actually went to Chickapin Bluff, which is a Louisa County county conservation property for our Master Conservationist program, and that's where Mark presented. And it was really interesting how he talks about forestry, and forestry is about light management.
Yes.
And the density of your trees, and I mean, just the way he talked about it, to me, I was just like, wow, it's just, so he's a really great presenter. And our Charles Rickey, who is one of the founders of the Arboretum, is going to be talking about pruning. So it's a great day. Again, it is Saturday, March 9th. There's registration, starts at 7:30 to 8:15. The event runs from 8:30 to 3:30, I think.
Now, do you choose which sessions you want to go to, or are there several different ones going on at the same time?
There's 4 different sessions, and in those sessions, you get to pick which workshop you want to go to. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you register, you can either register. We have paper brochures at the Extension office, but the registration is through Eastern Iowa Community College District, so Muscatine Community College, and you can register online. So you'll select your workshop preference. I do think that they say that if you register after the deadline of February 28th, then you may not get your first choice, because they try to even things out. So I would definitely encourage folks, if the earlier you register, the more certainty you have of getting the one. And then we also have lunch provided by a guy and a girl, so everybody loves the lunch that is here. Yum. So it's a really great day. So if you go to Muscatine Community College website and then in the search bar put in Art of Gardening, you'll go right to the Art of Gardening page. But you can also go to the Muscatine Extension website, and we have Art of Gardening on there and a direct link to the registration page. So
I'm pretty sure it's eicc.edu is their website, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
And it's not. Let me see if I can find it. I don't see it right on here in a super easy way to be able to confirm that.
So, if maybe folks aren't ones to get online and look at this stuff, because this brochure is all this information's online, can be found at the Muscatine Extension Office website. If they wanted to stop by, can they grab a pamphlet from you guys there? At the
and I've been trying to put them around town, different places, great. And so it's a really great day, and I think it's a great opportunity. And it's, if you're a beginning gardener and you haven't, you're just trying to learn some things, I think this is a great opportunity. If you're a more advanced gardener and you want to kind of take your skills to the next level, like one of these workshops, and I say it wrong, is exerscaping. I think that's how you say it, right? And it's about, it's an application in the Midwest. It's basically about drought-tolerant plants and water-saving practices. So how to garden with that water in mind and droughts and stuff. And so there are lots of different opportunities for different levels of interest and how much gardening experience you have. And even if you're really not into gardening flowers, which I think sometimes when people hear gardening, they think of...
That's all they think.
Yeah, and gardening is a lot more than that. Yeah. So it's landscaping and conservation. Hannah's also doing one on, fur scales and animal tails. And so she's going to be talking about the biodiversity found in Iowa. So lots of great opportunities. I really encourage folks to get registered and join us for the day. There's also vendors that we bring in. So between the classes, they have booths set up, and you can kind of meander and look at some things that are for sale or for some organizations. So we're really excited. The Master Gardeners also, just if people kind of they're ready to think spring even before March 9th, which isn't that far away. We're going to be offering some winter webcasts too, and these are pre-recorded 1-hour segments on different topics that are open to the public and free. So the first one is going to be next Tuesday, February 19th, called Limited Space Gardening, and it's basically explore a dozen ways to create container gardens. And so if you don't have a big yard, or if you're in an apartment or have a small spot, then this is a great one. And it's going to be next Tuesday, 6 to 7. We have moved the location because we had to move the Master Gardener meeting. We're going to have that actually at MCC in Strand Hall in the what do they call that? The lecture room in there. So we'll have signs and things like that if you go to Strand Hall. So that's next Tuesday, 6 to 7. On February 26th, we're going to have one called Engaging New Audiences, and that's going to be about examples of activities to attract new people to the garden.
Great.
So I think, millennials, young people, that kind of thing. And again, these are all 6 to 7. That one will be back at the Extension office. And then the last one, March 5th, is Managing Vegetable Pests, and that's going to be organic, weed-free vegetable growing tips to reduce pests and attract beneficial insects. Which
You just triggered something in the back of my head that was just instantly made me shake my head as soon as I heard those stupid. We deal with I think it's the Japanese beetle and those little ones that get on those. The very brightly colored, like rainbow colored ones. I think they're Japanese beetles. If I remember correctly.
They're kind of. Shimmery.
Yeah. What a nightmare those are. Oh
Yes.
my gosh, once they're on a plant, it's you're in for a rough time.
And what I've heard, and again, this is an opportunity to call the Hortline, right, and get experts that give advice. But what I've heard is a lot of people try to do the traps, but the traps actually just bring them in.
More.
And so I do think there's a lot of myths out there about what to do about those little guys. And so that's a really good example. I think we've talked before about where your information comes from and making sure you're looking at research-based information. And that's why the Horticulture Hotline is a great resource. There's a home horticulture news website that has lots of great articles and publications, and that's right there is an example of why it's better to kind of make sure you're getting expert advice versus kind of just something somebody says, oh, I saw this on the internet.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's going on with our Master Gardeners. We are planning, and we'll talk more about it next month, but March 30th, we're going to be doing a growing season kickoff with the Muscatine County Community Garden Association and the Master Gardeners, and that's going to focus on some gardening topics. We're going to have a session on tomatoes and growing tomatoes, and then also about keeping your soils healthy and composting, but also really focus on how folks can support our local food pantries by bringing in some excess produce and how to go about that.
Because I've told you that we did, that my folks and we do some gardening. That even when we eat, and I don't eat the tomatoes. I don't know what it is. I don't like our homegrown tomatoes. They love them.
Oh, wow.
And everybody does.
Yeah.
I just can't eat them. The one time.
Homegrown one's a big old slice on a piece of buttered toast.
And you know what? In my head, it looks good. But as soon as I taste it, smell it, I don't know what it is. But I do love to grow them. They're a lot of fun to grow and take care of. And
I love the cherry tomatoes that you can just pick off the vine and wipe them off and.
That's now as much as it looks good. It looks like a nice red grape almost. I'm like, oh, that should taste good. No, it's just not.
It's funny. My family of 4. We have 2 tomato lovers and 2 tomato. They're tomato adverse. Maybe let's just say. So yeah. So that's we got a lot going on, obviously, just with Master Gardeners.
I need to pay attention to that one that was talking about if you don't have a lot of space, the space management for one, because I don't have a yard, but I do have a window that gets plenty of light. I've got a spot on the edge of the roof where I could probably put some.
Oh, definitely,
and get away with being able to grow a few because they get plenty of light and that kind of stuff. So
you should join us next Tuesday night over at MCC.
Just because
6 to 7. Yeah, excellent. And all of this is on our Facebook page and also on our website. So if people didn't catch some of that, but again, they can always call the Extension office at 263-57012. Should we talk a little bit about camps?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we next Monday is President's Day, and the kids will be off of school again.
Yeah.
And I have
this time sanctioned, right?
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. This one's on the calendar. We all should know about it, but I'm sure some people are going to say, what? So we do our no school day camps, and that day we're going to have the one for 4th through 6th graders. So your 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, if you just need to get them out of the house, it's 12:30 to 5. So it's a nice let them sleep in a little bit, but then you can ship them off, and it's going to be a CSI Who Did It camp.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And this is, if you've had kids, so my son's done one of these before, and I was a little like, oh, I don't want him to ruin it for everybody else. But Dana has changed up the activities, and they're going to be doing some different stuff. So she loves doing this kind of stuff. So they're going to be doing some fingerprinting and some different things like that. So
very cool.
That's Monday, February 18th. It's only $10 per camper to sign your child up. It's 12:30 to 5, and it's for 4th through 6th graders. So we're excited about that one. But we also have our spring break camps out now, too. So
Spring break. It'll be here, right?
I know, and it doesn't feel like it's going to be spring, but we'll keep thinking positive.
Right.
So we have 2 camps for our 1st through 3rd graders and 2 camps for our 4th through 6th graders. So Friday, March 15th and Monday, March 18th are our 1st through 3rd. And one of them is Island Adventures, and they're going to learn about oceans and coastal life. I think that'll be fun, such as otters, manatees, polar bears, whales, and says they might even run into a pirate or two.
Ooh,
yeah. Right. And then the second one that is for that age group is called the Mad Magician's Laboratory. So they're going to learn about famous magicians, exploring gravity, reactions, optical illusions, things
Very
like
cool.
that. Yeah, and so both of those are going to be from 9 to 3, and they are $20 per camper, and we ask that they bring their lunch with them.
And these are the spring break ones. So that 9 to 3, it's kind of like it'd be like dropping them off for school. It's that time
Pretty
frame.
much.
Excellent.
Yep,
Excellent.
exactly. And then the 2 that are for 4th through 6th graders, there's one that's called Camp Create a Lot, and it's going to be basically being creative, exploring design elements, principles, practices, and just doing lots of different creating and multimedia creating kind of thing. So I think that one will be fun. And then our ever popular, the one that you still need to come join us on, the slimy, gooey, gross one. Mm-hmm. And again, it's fun because Dana likes to add different experiments and different things to that one. So those 2 are Wednesday, March 20th and Thursday, March 21st. So the little opportunities just to get them out of the house and break up the routine over spring break. We have those coming up. One other thing that we have along those lines, but this one is more for early childhood providers. So if you do in-home daycare, you work at a preschool, if you're in the early childhood arena, we're going to be doing 2 professional development opportunities where you can get CUs. And one of them is, they're both going to be on Saturday, April 6th at the Environmental Learning Center. But the one in the morning, the 8:30 to 12:30, is going to be called Growing Up Wild. And it's basically a workshop that will help early childhood professionals learn different activities they can do to connect kids to nature.
Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think that's going to be fun. So they're going to receive a guide with 27 nature-based themes. That they're going to get snack ideas, take-home family activities, and basically just get ideas of how you can get kids outside and exploring nature. Which
is so important nowadays.
Yes.
It's kids just don't get that time outside that they used to. That's for sure. Makes me kind of sad because I kind of had a foot in both worlds. I like to play the video games and whatever, but I also spent every day outside if I could.
Yeah.
I was only inside when it was too cold to be out, or if it was raining, whatever. Otherwise, we were out running around like wild children.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. So this program, this Growing Up Wild, is a partnership with the Muscatine County Conservation. Great. So the naturalist out there, Michelle, will be teaming up with one of our family life specialists to teach us. And so
awesome.
It also explores if you field trips and things that you can take out there at the Environmental Learning Center too. So I think that's great. But in the afternoon that day, there will be a lunch provided for people who want to stay over and come to both. But from 1 to 3, there's going to be one that's called Preschoolers and Pennies. And so this one's really going to focus on talking about money and how you can introduce those concepts to preschoolers, the 3 to 5-year-olds, and learn, ways to reinforce money-related words and explore fun activities and things like that. Both of these you can sign up through the Iowa Child Care Provider Training Registry, which anybody who needs those CEUs knows where that training registry is, and just search for Muscatine County and you'll see it. They're both April 6th out at the Environmental Learning Center. So I think that's, so not only do we do the direct programming for kids, but we also do provide the professional development and things like that too.
That's excellent. That is excellent.
So I got 2 more things. Do we have time?
We've probably got time. We do it quick.
Okay.
We go through them quick.
And I'm good at doing it quick. So we'll make it fast. So really quickly, we do have on February 21st, this is something we are hosting at our office, but aren't not the ones organizing it. It's called a soil health workshop. It's from 10 to 1, and it's being hosted by the Muscatine Soil and Water Conservation District and Natural Resource Conservation Services and the Cedar County Soil and Water Conservation District. And so they're going to be doing some really fun hands-on things with soil too. So it's a 3-hour workshop. There are CUs for agronomists, but it is open to gardeners. So if you're really into your soil, I know I have some master gardeners who are going to be coming to this too. But it is open to the public. There is a registration though. So let's see. I'm going to say you want to I think the easiest way I can do 2 things. You can call 563-886 6214 extension 3 to register, or just give us a call at the extension office and we'll share that information with you. So that's one. And then lastly, we've talked about, Jordan, that we're moving in September. Yep. So a lot of people have said, are you moved yet? No, we are not moved yet. We're moving in September. The construction project is out to bid right now. By the end of the month, we're hoping to have selected our contractor. We have to go through that public bidding process. But as part of that, we are starting to get rid of excess office equipment and things that have just lived with us for 20 years and are not going to move with us. Gotcha. So we have an online auction happening right now. It's a public surplus auction. So if you go to the Muscatine County Extension webpage, all the links are there for the photos. It's also on our Facebook page too, so you can see the photos. We have lots of office supply things. We have some slide carousels, an overhead projector, slide projector, some of our old school equipment that we just aren't using anymore. But then also some drawer, filing cabinets, some reception chairs. If there's anybody who's into construction, we are selling the excess, the used water heaters and heating units in the building that we bought, because right now that building is separated into 6 separate units, so each of them have their own kind of smaller, and we're going to be opening it up and making it into one.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So I encourage folks just to visit our website or our Facebook page. I know there's always so much to talk about. But the other thing is, if you want to just be in the know, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter, and it will come, the first week of the month right to your mailbox, and you'll get all the information about our camps and, our continuing education opportunities, and kind of try to highlight different program things in each one of those newsletters. So just give the extension office a call and give us your email, and you can be added to that. And again, the extension office is 263-57